fly a million miles away somewhere, just me and you. Can we go MIA somewhere far from this bush? Let's fly a million miles away somewhere, just me and you. I don't care where we go, as long as it's so far, so far, so far from here. It's about time I took a little trip.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, back with another episode of Get It Together with Big Maul, starring me, your host, Big Maul, Molly Maul, JB, Molly B, whatever it is that you call me. I hope you guys had a great week, and going into your weekend, I hope it was amazing. Hope it was spectacular. I hope you did all of the things that you were supposed to do. You crushed some goals. You ate healthy. You drank your water, and you said your prayers, and you did all of the things that you were supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? I had a great week. Dived in to just my routine. Went to work, and it was a good week. It was a very productive week. I ended up fasting. I ended the weekend, or ended the week. Yeah. Well, basically, yeah. I ended the weekend fasting. I started on Friday afternoon or evening around like 6, and I broke the fast at 12 o'clock noon Sunday. So, um, felt really good. Felt really good. That was 41 hours that I did. The last time I did it, it was like 32. So, I got 9 more hours in, and I feel great, feel amazing. Didn't have any headaches, didn't crave food. There was just a point where you just want to eat because you didn't have anything. But I wasn't dying. I wasn't, about to just crash out and break the fast early. I stuck to it, man. It's all mental. It's all mental. As long as you drink your water and stuff. And I ran Saturday morning. So um yeah, I did good. I did good. I did good. So let's get into it, man. This was months ago, but I saw Chris Brown. I think it was either a interview or just a quote from a social media page where he said that he suffers from imposter syndrome. And hearing somebody like Chris Brown say that, because he's an icon, he's a living legend. He's Chris Brown. He's been around for like 20 plus years, and he's still popping. He's still at the height of his success, and loved worldwide. And to hear him say he suffers from imposter syndrome, I was like, wow. Because we know these people are human, but for him to be who he is, and to say that he still has problems, with just being him, and all of those things. It's like, okay, if he feels that way, then it's completely normal for anybody to feel that way. No matter what position you have in life, what role you play in life, whatever it is, that what your occupation is, what you're doing, who you are, what gender you are, what race you are, it doesn't matter. And I definitely can agree. I can relate, because I have felt victim to imposter syndrome myself. I used to feel the same way, because it's like, you'll just see other people. Maybe sometimes it's not even it doesn't come from a weird place. You just you admire them in a way. They may inspire you. You like their personality, and you just, especially if you're around them a lot or you see them a lot, you start to mimic them in certain ways. You kind of get away from who you are, and you have to watch that, especially if you begin to do things like out of your character so much that you it's negative. You're getting in trouble and stuff like that. But I definitely suffer from it. My I remember, because I went to a Christian school from 4 years old to 7 years old, and when I started going to public school, bigger school, more kids, etc. Um, I remember my mom telling me the first day of school, the very first day, 7 years old. I remember this. She told me, to just be myself. And she said, you're gonna make friends and you're gonna have a great time. But if you start seeing those same friends do things that you know is wrong, then don't do it. Okay, just because they're your friends does not mean that everything that they do is right. And I also remember her saying, if you see a girl pull up her skirt and you see your friends looking under her skirt or doing something like, doing something like that, you better not be doing it. And I'm not sure why she said that specifically. I don't know, like I don't know why she said that. And I'm at 7 years old. You're not even thinking of like asking that question of like, where is this coming from? Like your mind doesn't operate like that at 7 years old. You just say yes, ma'am. You say okay, and that's that, which I did. But it just always stuck with me, just the message of being myself, and I did that to the best of my ability from that point all the way till present day, as an adult. And my grandma used to say the same thing too, and she used to with her and my mom, they used to instill in me values of like self-love and self-care and being proud of where you come from and being proud of who you are and presenting yourself in the best way possible, no matter where you are, who you're around, keeping your area and your space clean. And I definitely have adopted those values as an adult and passing them down to my daughter, from just like keeping my car clean to keeping my house clean. You know, well, she doesn't deal with anything like this, but as a grown man, staying clean shaven and smelling good, and and she's 9 years old, so she's gonna be gradually, soon getting into the practicing good hygiene with deodorant and all of that stuff. So I try to get her into wearing lotions and just a little bit of perfumes and and chapsticks, just things, for her to understand, like, okay, you wanna look good. When you look good, you feel good. You want to get a good night's rest. You want to clean your room and make your bed before you leave the house and go to school. So you come home to a clean room. You come home to a clean bed. Um, you're able to find things. You're able to just come home from a long day where you've been in class, you've been around students, and you've been learning all day and playing with your friends, and you may have had a test and had a long day, and then you come home and boom, you come home to a nice space where you can just kind of calm down and get away from the chaos of the day, and your mind is at ease. You don't come home to a cluster. You don't come home to just a bunch of stuff just everywhere, and that's more frustrating in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So to come home, to a messy room, to a messy compound from having a day at school, and I want her to adopt that when she gets older, coming home from work or whatever. But yeah, I was taught those things at an early age, and just being true to who you are, being uh, having courage, and being just really confident in the way you walk, the way you talk, but also importantly, just growing more in yourself. You find out a lot about yourself the more you get older, the more things that you go through, whether it's you start dating, you go through a breakup, or you lose friends, or you deal with death. You start just finding out what you like, whether playing sports, and finding out what you want to do, if you want to graduate and go to college, if you want to go to trade school, or if you want to go into the workforce, go into the military. You just find out so much about yourself, and you start learning who your friends really are, and you start knowing and realizing what you like to be around, what you like to hear, what you like to what you don't like to tolerate. You start just examining all of those things, and you either start distancing yourself from the things that you don't want, or you start being around, or you're already around things that you don't want to be around, or people you don't want to be around, but you don't have a strong enough will and self-confidence and self-love to remove yourself from those things. Because popularity was a thing back when I was in school. And I just know now for this generation, it's 10 times worse because we have social media and we have, all of these, and the music is different. Everything is so different. And the kids now are exposed to much more. So they want to be like the things that they see, which aren't necessarily great all the time. So there's peer pressure to want to fit in. It's even more amplified than it was back when I was in school, and it's more, like I said, it's more intense. And a lot of times nowadays, these generations, they will succumb to the peer pressure because they want to be liked, they want to feel cool, and they want to feel accepted by their peers. And the parents are either not, they're either the parents are, they're not around, they're not involved in their kids' lives, or they want to be the cool parent and they don't discipline their kids. They don't check in with their kids. They don't ask their kids questions. They don't allow their kids to be loved. They just let their kids do their thing. Um, but you can't as a parent, you can't not just allow your child to just go through every little thing in life. Like they're gonna go through the motions. They're gonna go through, um, you can't prevent them from getting their heart broken, or you can't prevent them from getting from their friend turning their back on them or stabbing them in the back and all of those things. Like that's going to happen in life, but you can just try to the best you can to teach your child, like, hey, I know you want to have friends, I know you like your friends, but just examine them. You know how you grew up. You know the values that we place inside of you. You know the way that we raised you or are continuing to raise you, and you know what goes against what you know and what you know is right. So if you see your friends doing that, you may have to distance yourself from them because you will end up just like them. And that's not what we want from you. We love you, and that's the only reason that we're sitting you down and telling you all of this. We want you to succeed. And if you go down a certain road, you will not succeed. You will find out the hard way. And you can be speaking from experience personally, or you can just be speaking from someone that you know that you saw go down the wrong path, that had everything going, that was raised right, but they decided to go left because they wanted to be cool, they wanted to be accepted, and you should never think and live that way. I know a lot of people that grew up in two-parent households. I didn't even grow up in a two-parent households, but I know a lot of people that grew up in two-parent households, and they were raised a certain way. They got everything they wanted basically, but they were raised a certain way. They weren't really in trouble in school, but then they got out or started getting to more so towards high school, and they started hanging around a different crowd. They started acting out, and then by the time they graduated, they've been to jail once or twice, and they think that they want to be tough, and they think that the way to do that is, okay, let's be in a gang, let's join a gang, and let's walk around, doing things that that your family frowns upon, and it's just like what are we doing? Okay, we can't. There's no growth in the streets. There's no growth in trying to imitate the people that you see on TikTok or in the music videos, because what they look like, they got all this money and they look cool because they got guns and they're sagging their pants and they getting all the girls, or vice versa. The girls are out in the club and they're half naked and they're doing all of these things that their parents aren't proud of, and they're doing it for the love of the money. They're doing it to be accepted, and it's just like, whew. And like I said, it's only worse with this generation. In back, I went to high school. I entered high school in 2007 and graduated in 2011. We had we had Facebook, we had like MySpace, we had YouTube, but we didn't have them to, not a lot of people had these apps so accessible on their phones because we didn't even, I don't even know when the first iPhone came out, maybe 2006, 2007, somewhere around there. But not everybody had that. We all still had flip phones, and we had the LGs and the chocolate, the little LG chocolate phones, and you know we had Blackberries, we had those type of phones. So we didn't have, smartphones until we graduated, and then they started evolving. But we didn't have it. That we didn't have Instagram. We didn't have Snapchat. We didn't have TikTok. So it's a different time, different generation. And the message I just want to send today to the youth is just don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't be afraid to stand out. Don't be afraid to be alone. Develop good habits. Develop good routines. Think for yourself. Think for yourself. You can still have great friends that have values, and they have respect for themselves and their families, and they have goals. Um, but still stand out, still be your own person, still be an individual that, if you did have to stand alone, you had strength and confidence in standing alone, you know, and just make sure that you know God and continue to learn and know and grow in Him and trust in Him. Have your own identity aside from all of your friends. You know, like I said, even if they're great, even if they're positive individuals, they're great people. And if they're bad people, you need to remove yourselves from them, man. We're losing our youth too much, too fast, too young to gun violence and going to jail and all of these different things before they even experience life. They're half of them now are teenagers still. Um, they that have their whole life ahead of them, but they're ended up just going down the wrong path. Um, Wanting to be cool and wanting to be this and wanting to be that, and they're messing up their lives so early, and it's sad. It's very sad. And a lot of times I feel like everybody has potential. They have to tap into it, but a lot of times it's these students are already athletes, and they've been playing football or basketball or baseball, and they had a promising future. They could continue to thrive and stay focused, but they got off track. And it's like you wish all of these kids can get a second chance, but a lot of these times, the crimes and things that they commit, there's no second chance, or we're just losing them to death. We're just losing them to death. And that even hurts worse because there's no coming back from that. And, the person that, may have been responsible for the death, they're throwing their lives away as well. And it's just a sad thing to see. And of course this has been going on before I, was even born, but I'm pretty sure I can say with 100% it was not this bad and it wasn't this frequent. A lot of these kids are just dying so young, and they're just messing up their lives so young. Just be yourself. Be yourself. And if you feel like you have parents that aren't in your life, or you have guardians that aren't in your life, then go to somebody that can help you, that can guide you. Go to a coach, go to a teacher, go to your school counselor, go to an adult that you can trust, that can help teach you and lead you in the right direction if you feel like you're getting off, or if you're so mad and so angry, take the time out to think about and ask yourself, why am I this angry? What's missing in my life? What do I need right now? Why am I acting this way? Why am I acting this way? And just start writing things down and figure it out from there. Talk to somebody, go to a pastor. Um, but please get the help and and just be yourself. Be a better person. Be a better person. And and lead the way for the next. Lead the way for the next. The same way that we, and I say we as a whole, the same way that we act out and people see that and laugh and think it's funny, think it's cool, they think that's cute, like, and then they want to do it and they want to join in, and then it's just this big clique that's just up to no good. Turn that into a positive. Start going to church, start reading, start exercising, start going to the gym and going and playing ball, pick up a sport, start a study group, start doing different things. Um, host video game tournaments. Like, just do different things that are positive, in your neighborhood, in your community, around your school, and things of that nature. Start a club, try to start a club, talk to somebody, and just make a change. And then, it'll be a it'll be a domino effect to these kids are like, oh wow, look at them. Wow, what are they doing? that looks fun. I want to join that. And now you're productive. Now you're learning something. Now you're around like-minded individuals, and you still get to keep your individuality. You still get to be yourself. You still get to work on yourself, and you be around others that are positive, that are motivating, that are inspirational, that are respectful and loving and caring amongst each other and their families and themselves. And it's beautiful. It'll be beautiful. We met to. I'll never forget. In the 7th grade, I went to the minority outreach program. I probably talked about this before in the past, and I still have this shirt that we had. It was an etiquette class for young black men, and we learned how to tie ties. We learned how to, dress well, and we learned how to just eat properly and have table manners and have manners. Period, and how to just conduct ourselves as young men. Um, and we did schoolwork as well. This was over the summer. Um, and we were around great people. We were around great individuals. And I'll never forget that. And I've made some long lasting friendships while doing that. And I don't regret it. And I really wish that the youth had a program like that now. There needs to be more programs around the world for young youth, whether it's males or female, white or black. Like we need more programs for the youth to come together and to learn and be more positive, and learn it. Like, it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to be short, tall, chubby, skinny, have hair, have no hair. Um, it's okay to be black, white, Mexican, Puerto Rican. Like, it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. It's okay to be yourself. It's okay to stand out. It's okay to be positive, and it's okay to have great routines in your life and just being great. It's okay to be great. It's okay to be a nerd, to read books and do all these things, man. Um so yeah, you know, don't try to be like nobody else. Be like yourself. Be like yourself. Love yourself. Embrace yourself. Flaws and all. You know what I'm saying? And that will bring me to the conclusion of this episode. Hope you guys take something from this, pass it on, especially to the younger generation. Make sure they listen to it. Or if you can, as an adult or however old you are, you can take something from it. I don't know. Maybe you found out something about yourself. But, you know, if there's something you want to change about yourself, ask yourself what are the things that you want to change. Ask yourself, you know, identify your triggers. You know what your triggers are. Make you mad, make you sad. Identify those things, write them down, and try to just come up with a solution of how you can heal from that and not let those things control you. Try to, you know, love yourself more and work on some things this week. And also, eat right, drink your water, and go to the gym. You know what I'm saying? Thank y'all so much for listening. I appreciate y'all. Um, Follow me on every social media platform at Jamal Butler. Thanks for listening to the podcast, sharing, liking, reposting, commenting, on all of my content, subscribing, and all of the things. So, um, I'm gonna get out of here. Enjoy your week. Do not let it be mundane. Okay? And remember, God is good. And I will catch y'all on the next episode. Peace. Love y'all.